For Nigeria, Tony Skin, Akini Ibekwe, Mike Diogu, who's played for 7 NBA teams, Al-Farouk Aminu, who was in the NBA with the New Orleans Hornets, Adi Dagunduro, Chamberlain Ogochi, Coco Archibong, Richard Aruche, Ajike Ubuwaja, Derek Obashoan, Olade Aminu, Al-Farouk's brother, and Olumide Oyedeji, who has played for 2 NBA teams. A lot of the players here could be described as professional basketball gypsies who played all over the world.
They're certainly nomads. They run all over the place, finding themselves, some of them, you were mentioning to me, a player that just has some remarkable stats in terms of the number of teams he's played for over the years.
Oyedeji has played for 17 teams in 10 countries since 2000.
That's going to be a record.
Tyson Chandler, Kevin Durant, the leading scorer, LeBron James, who needs very little introduction, Russell Westbrook has got a new low 5 going here, Darren Williams, Andre Iguodala, Kobe Bryant, Kevin Love, the man with the beard, James Harden, Chris Paul, the unibrow, Anthony Davis, the only player on the team who has not played in the NBA, but he was the first pick overall in the NBA draft a couple of months ago, and Carmelo Anthony, and the coach, Mike Krzyzewski, the coach at Duke University. And now the national anthems of both countries, starting with the anthem of Nigeria.
Of the United States of America. Good luck to both teams, and we'll be back very shortly.
So the players taking their last warm-ups after exchanging gifts with each other. time to look at, hopefully, the starting lineups. Interesting to look at the statistics in the Olympic tournament so far, because Al-Farouq Amino is 3rd in rebounding, 3rd in steals, 8th in block shots, and 1st in turnovers. So he's been an active player for Nigeria at both ends of the court. Here's the way Group A stands right now. Argentina and France each 2-1. The United States undefeated 2-0. Lithuania 1-2. Nigeria 1-1, and Tunisia 0-3. So Nigeria with a win would move even with the U.S., France, and Argentina. A loss would put the United States uncontested on top of the group.
And there should be there's no sense here that this Nigeria team is not deserving of their position, but we have to watch for the fact that it's a team that has not the same kind of depth as this USA team. In fact, in fairness, no team in this competition has that kind of depth. The good things working for Nigeria is that they play the kind of passionate basketball that you love to watch. They play basketball and they do not stop. They're relentless. They hit the boards. Now, they do make some mistakes because of that passion, some unforced errors on the offensive end and some overzealous fouls, shall we call it, on the defensive end. But the United States should be under no illusions that Nigeria will attack them as much as they possibly can.
You saw the starting lineup. They're going with a big lineup to match the United States, who will go with Tyson Chandler, their only recognized center apart from Anthony Davis on the roster. Kevin Durant and LeBron James, who both play small forward in the NBA, will be the power forward. So Nigeria trying to match up with some big size, which we think we would see a few teams try to do to the U.S. team. And having watched Nigeria play before, you do get the sense, unlike some teams, they have not played together a lot. They really have the feel of a pickup team.
They do, very much so. Although they're quite good at playing naturally with each other, they do have a good feel, it seems, for each other. There's a definite sense of camaraderie, for example. It doesn't always translate to the same kind of telepathic connection that we sometimes saw with Spain, with the Gasol brothers, or even with some of the point guards passing to the bigs. So they do sometimes miss connections that might otherwise make them a slightly better team.
Juan Artiega of Spain is the referee. Robert Lodermoser of Germany and Elena Chernova of Russia are the umpires. I'm sure you can tell which is which. Nigeria, the last team to qualify for this Olympic tournament, beating the Dominican Republic for 3rd place in the Olympic qualifying tournament after finishing 3rd in the African Nations tournament after they lost to Angola. Ike Diogu played with 7 different NBA teams, and in last season played for the San Antonio Spurs 7 games, played for Capitans de Aristizabal in Puerto Rico, and played for the Xinjiang Flying Tigers in China, all in the same year.
That's getting a lot of experience on the floor.
And a lot of frequent flyer miles into the airline account as well.
I'll tell you what, though, we've talked about Nigeria and some of the shortcomings there, but one of the things, talking to Sam Perkins, obviously a member of the Dream Team, well, he would say the original and only Dream Team, and he's been accompanying this USA team on their journey to the Olympics, and he says that still, even at this point, they have not gelled together. They're playing well together, they're trying to be unselfish, but that's not the same as getting exactly on the same page, and so he's still waiting for that to happen.
Oyedeji, the man who's played for 17 teams, will jump center. That's him, number 15. Kobe Bryant for the U.S. On the side, Al-Farouq Amini, Dioju will be the forwards. Oba Sohan, who's basically a shooting forward, a small forward, will be the big guard. And Tony Skinn, born in Lagos, grew up in Tacoma Park, Maryland, played at George Mason when they had their great NCAA tournament run in American college ball in 2006, and currently plays in Israel for Ironi Ashkelon. Two players on this team play in Iran, Iraq, and in Lebanon. Cross-court pass, Kevin Durant for 3 to begin the game. USA 3, Nigeria nothing.
I would certainly say that's not how you want to start the game. Kevin Durant, though, of all the players on this team, has really been smooth.
and he is the leading scorer. Chris Paul knocked that pass away. And on the drive, before the shot was blocked, Kobe Bryant was fouled. Skin will pick up the foul. Aminu was ready for the block. Al Farouk.
And I would say the last time I saw Nigeria play, they did take a few minutes to settle into the game. And then they did come back, a bit of a resurgence, moved the ball, got some penetration because they have some unbelievable quickness on that squad. The problem lies that they don't have the same option for penetration with the kick to the exterior because their outside shooting not up to the caliber of some of the teams in this competition, certainly not up to the caliber of what we saw from GB, for example.
Bryant makes both. It's 5-0. What you said up until the last bit applies almost equally to the Dream Team. They do take a while to get going in the games that we've seen. And as you said earlier, they haven't quite gelled as a unit. And I called them the Dream Team. I didn't mean to. Underneath, good work underneath, but the shot comes in and out by Diogu, and the U.S. comes away with the ball.
Sam Perkins will thank you for clarifying that.
LeBron James from the outside misses. Skin, as two Nigerians contested the rebound with Chandler, and it was knocked out to Tony Skin. He drives, kicks it back out to the big man. Oyedeji's shot misses, and Kobe Bryant gets it.
I'll tell you what great discipline on the defensive end by Nigeria the last time. The box out was really good.
Kobe Bryant for three, just came down casually, stopped, and hit the basket. It is 8-0. Al Farouk Aminu, and it's ball goes backcourt, and there will be the violation. Once you cross the midcourt line, you cannot take it back.
Again, see Kobe Bryant's shot from deep, came down, measured it up. Got to put some more pressure on. It's difficult against Kobe Bryant because it's 6 of one, half of the other. Do you really want him shooting from the outside? No, but do you want him driving in the middle, causing chaos, possibly dishing off hammer dunks? Equally, no.
Oyedeji comes out, and he's replaced by Alade Aminu, the other of the two Aminu brothers. We saw Spanish Habit brothers. Tyson Chandler couldn't get inside. Good work underneath by Al Farouk Aminu.
Nigeria will be as physical as any team out there inside. Give the USA a bit of a run for their money if they're not fully ready.
Good cross-court pass. Open look. Obason misses. LeBron James comes down with it. Long two-handed pass down court to Kobe. And he makes it 10-0 to the USA. It's kind of like silent assassins here.
Well, there's nothing spectacular. I mean, this thing, you expect every play for the USA to be spectacular. They've done nothing spectacular yet, and yet still up 10-0.
Skin with a good look for the three. Obason came up with the rebound. Al Farouk nearly lost it to brother Alade. Alade can't get it to drop. Paul comes away with the ball. Bryant looks for James. James dishes it outside. And Durant hits. And LeBron James seems to be working on the assists so far in this tournament.
Yeah, and maybe this is his contribution, if you like, to really, that's a great pass.
All in one motion.
Yeah, it's a great pass.
Kevin Durant drills it.
It's a good catch, one-handed, and a great dish.
And Nigeria want a timeout because with 7 minutes and 16 seconds to play in the first period, they trail the U.S. 13-0. Let's hear the Nigerian huddle.
23 twice, all right? Next dead ball, we change it to a 3 and 2. All right? You're saying the switch on the 2-3. 23, you switch, except the guard, except the point, all right? Now, on our offense, guys, let's run 6. We're not setting screens, all right? And then be patient. There's no need to take that shot.
Well, you heard Ayo Bakare working on both the defense and the offense, but his team is already in a 13-point hole. Not unsurmountable, but I think they need to be up. And of course, the problem is that when they come and contest those outside shots, They're inviting passes into the middle.
Yeah, but you don't want to leave this team having a shooting drill, which is essentially what's happened so far. You can't be so afraid, especially with the athleticism that Nigeria has. How about you just throw your bodies out there and see what happens? Be unselfish.
Skin lost the ball to Kobe Bryant. Chris Paul picked it up. Durant again for three. This time he misses. And the rebound taken by Aminu. That's Skin. Good look underneath. Al Farouk lost it on the spin move. Obasohn back to Al Farouk.
They'll be able to take that move in there.
And Tyson Chandler just muscled him away. Good move by Al Farouk Aminu. Sorry, it was Ike Diogu down low.
And there's an element of some of that defense by the USA that's posturing. So you've got to be able to get past that bravado. Once you've driven, as we saw there are options.
And is it a question for Nigeria right now of simply just coming out and giving them a little bit too much respect, just forgetting that this is a basketball game and they put their shorts on the same way you do?
Exactly. And also, you know, sometimes I think all these teams, including Great Britain, don't give themselves enough credit for the fact that they're here. Getting here took something. And for GB, it was a 6-year journey from nothing to this. And while disappointed with execution, as we rightly should be, because it's patronizing to players of quality to suggest that close is good enough.
That's right.
They should be proud of the fact that they worked to get here.
Durant dishing it outside to Kobe Bryant. It's a tighter defense outside. The foul call on Obasohn. And LeBron James inbounds to Tyson Chandler. James left alone and tomahawk slams it. And the U.S. is leading Nigeria 15-2. Diogu, turnaround jumper, needed to do that a little bit more. 15-4. Maybe that will loosen him up now. Kevin Durant. Obasohn lets him go by. Obasohn, though, cut off the pass, but LeBron James kept it from going out of bounds.
And that's the kind of defense we're talking about. You've got to collapse on the middle. Dangerous here, though.
Kobe Bryant, he has him there 17-4.
And that isolation is going to be trouble for Nigeria. They're going to have to double team that, force Kobe Bryant to give it up, and make the defense rotate.
Nigeria worked the ball around. Diogu driving into the middle, puts up the shot, nicely done. Ike Diogu, he's got 2 baskets, Nigeria has 6.
And that's a tough shot as well, and it seems like now, a little bit Nigeria getting into their rhythm, but the defense must now lock down.
And Durant, even with Al Farouk Aminu coming out to contest the shot, Durant shot over him, it's 20-6.
Yep, and you've got to make them do something different than what they're comfortable with, and right now they're really comfortable standing and shooting. I think the USA put it on the floor would be smart.
Skin penetrates, good offensive rebound by Ike, and he puts in the basket. And all of a sudden, Ike Diogu has come to play.
I'll tell you what, that's lovely play. He has definitely come to play against the bigs on the side. Look at the physical play.
LeBron James, good look. Pass through Tyson Chandler's hands to Durant, and he misses. And Obasohn comes out uncontested. Dunk for Al Farouk Aminu, and listen to the crowd.
But look how quickly the USA back on offense.
Kobe Bryant falling into the Nigerian bench, 23-10, a 3-point basket.
Must make him do something different. As demoralizing as it may be to see him driving through your defense, I think it's more so to see him shooting from the stratosphere.
Olade Aminu lost the ball, and then it came down. It's Kobe Bryant with the backward stuff, and it's 25-10. 4 minutes to play in the first quarter. American players up off the bench. Skin. Al Farouk Aminu misses. Kobe Bryant with the rebound, it's stolen away from him by Olade Aminu, the other brother. And Ike Diogu goes in, and he's fouled by Tyson Chandler. And again, you wonder about the slow start, because as I said, Ike Diogu is finally getting going. He's played on 7 different NBA teams. It's not like he hasn't been there.
Exactly. As we watch the steal, the reverse dunk from Kobe Bryant.
showtime in Stratford.
Yeah, and whilst that shot is spectacular, what's really been hurting Nigeria is not these dunks on the inside, but the wide open jumpers from the outside.
And we said earlier on that those shots needed to be contested. Nigeria doing a better job of contesting them, but a couple of times. Kobe Bryant just on fire, hasn't missed a shot right over the defender, falling down out of bounds, and still sinks the long three.
Yep, got to make somebody do something different. Chandler, the only player really in that starting five who didn't really get a chance to get going, and that in large part because of the physical play of the interior players from Nigeria.
Wholesale changes for the U.S. Kevin Love and Carmelo Anthony will come in up front. Andre Iguodala will be the other forward, and Russell Westbrook and Darren Williams will be the guards. Chamberlain Oguchi, who played for 4 different teams last year in Lebanon, Iraq, Venezuela, and the Philippines. And that is a nomad.
That is a traveling salesman right there. It's been everywhere. Interesting move here. Look at the zone.
Going to a zone defense, and the pass was tipped away by Oguchi.
What we've seen from the Dream Team, well, see, I nearly did it then, from this USA team, is that they don't react well to the zone the first couple of times down, but then respond really well.
Carmelo Anthony, well, that's one way to respond, is shoot over it.
Yeah, they looked a bit unsteady for the first time they looked at it, and then immediately responded.
Now bringing the ball up is Oguchi. Tony Skin into the corner. Good ball movement, good shot by Diogu. It's a 2-pointer, 28-13.
Diogu, every time he makes a shot, looks over at the USA bench. Inadvisable, I would say. He's having a great game, a storming game, actually. Doing a fantastic job offensively, but hubris has been the downfall of many a player.
It was Darren Williams on the other end. And even though Iguodala came over to block it from behind, Diogu put it through anyway. So quick, Russell Westbrook with the 3-pointer, 33-15. And a pass to no one from Tony Skin. Russell Westbrook behind the back to Darren Williams, and he lays it in, 35-15. Ike Diogu. Entry pass to Iguodala, and he misses. Carmelo Anthony clearing the boards. Anthony, nominally a small forward, playing center. And hitting from the outside, another 3-pointer, 38-15. Coach Ayo Bakare wants a timeout for Nigeria with 2 minutes remaining in the first quarter, and they're trailing the U.S. 38-15. And of those 15 points, Ike Diogu's got 11 of them.
And these shots that we're watching in the video here, just too easy for any team. Forget the USA. If Great Britain had those kinds of opportunities, they too would be bombing the lights out, as we've seen.
Let's hear what Ayo is saying to his guys.
That's what we're running. Well, everybody's running inside here and leaving the wings open. All right, let's match up on 3-2. If they distort the zone to the side, then you've got to distort also. We practiced this yesterday. Come on, guys. It's all concentration.
And on the other side, Mike Krzyzewski, the U.S. coach. Hard to be critical of his team right now.
It's hard to know what a coach does say. Coaches, I think, like it when something, just a little something is going wrong, but frankly, what do you report on here?
It gives them something to do.
Perhaps you could shoot it from further out.
I understand the idea of playing zone, trying to make Americans clear, but if you do, you just have to spread it out a bit more and play it a bit tighter.
Yeah, it's got to be a matchup zone. You've got to be willing to commit to the man with the ball, and you see these massive gaps that the USA are exploiting with ease. It's not like their passing game is remarkable, just too easy.
Oguchi on the drive, and he's fouled by Darren Williams. Oguchi misses the first, and well, we say it so many times in these games, you just cannot afford to miss the foul shots.
Nope, free throws are essential. There are games that we see that go down to the wire that end up being 1-point losses, 2-point losses. When you look at the stat sheet and you look at the number of points that players have left, not in the fourth quarter, but in the first and second and third quarters, left on the free throw line.
Darren Williams, quick move to get started. Kevin Love wants to shoot from outside, and he makes it. Another three, 41-16. Love, the big man, moving outside and taking target practice.
Again, too easy. It's literally a set shot. It's a warm-up set shot. Now we see some pressure by the U.S. on those guards.
Westbrook fights through the screen. Oguchi from the outside. Good rebounding by Nigeria, and the follow-up put in by Ugboaja.
I'll tell you what, you have to love the pursuit. 3 green jerseys crowding the backboard. America, cardinal sin, not blocking out.
Carmelo Anthony setting up. He just loves that corner. Another three for him, 44-18. And what it is he's got a big man on him who does not want to go all the way out into the corner.
He's going to have to, otherwise things are going to get unpleasant.
Because when you're a big, as you know, you're trained to keep to the middle. Give your teammates some help. Great layup by Oruche.
Those rules kind of go out the window once you get to this level, when most bigs can take a shot from 18 feet.
And Carmelo hits another one. You see the stat there. The United States has attempted 14 three-point shots already and made 11 of them.
It is. It's shooting practice. Ball stagnant, not moving.
And there's one for Nigeria. Oguchi for three. And at the other end, just getting back more quickly than the Nigerians can. Westbrook lays it in.
You know, when you do something good on a basketball court on offense, you have to make sure you don't let yourself down on defense.
Richard Oruche, who plays for Academica in Portugal, beats the buzzer for Nigeria. And so at the end of the first quarter, the United States has run up 49 points in one 10-minute quarter of international basketball. That does not happen too often, John.
No, that does not. I mean, it's a half's worth of points in a quarter. And you know what? We may have caused some of this. We may have jinxed this, because we talked about how this USA team hasn't really gelled. Not my opinion. Sam Perkins mentioned that. But out on the floor now, I mean, what do you say about that? As a coach, what do you say? All I can say about the USA is, if I'm the coach, hey, maybe you could get an offensive rebound. But it's hard to get offensive rebounds if you're not missing.
That's right. If you don't miss, there's no rebound. Kevin Durant, this is the one that started the game off. And it just continued from there.
It was a bad foreshadowing, that first shot, that then meant we saw 11 more of the same. Frustrating for me, and if you want to learn by watching this, and I think it's hard to, frankly, if you want to learn by watching this, it is the idea that you don't let players get the same shot from the same place again and again and again. You've got to make them adjust. It's only enforcing the adjustment that you stand a chance of changing the outcome.
I believe it was Albert Einstein who said that insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. And I forget what team he coached.
In which case, Nigeria is currently certifiable.
They make it look so easy. And LeBron James, well, he took that one dunk shot, but otherwise passing up the shot for one of the more spectacular passes you will ever see. So the second quarter about to begin with Nigeria inbounding the ball. Possession now alternates on jump balls and the beginning of quarters. And I think they got it started a couple of seconds too early as the timekeeper is gesturing up to the scoreboard. The PA announcer was refusing to stop his between quarters entertainment, which is being pumped so loudly through the stadium that occasionally the table actually shivers we're leaning on. Inside, and he's still hot. Ike Diogu on the turnaround jumper hits. Carmelo Anthony, well, he missed one, but the rebound, he gets it himself. Love was out of bounds as he caught it, and the ball will go over to Nigeria. So maybe things are going to change in this quarter as Nigeria comes out hitting and the U.S. comes out missing. Inside to Ike, he drives, and Love says enough of that, rejects that shot. But a three, Oruche, well, they forgot about Carmelo, he comes down and simply stuffs it through.
There is no time for celebration in a game like this, so no cause for it. Down by 20.
Stripped by Russell Westbrook, and he stuffs it through. 53-30.
Because I always think when you get to this level, you use every game. You try and wring something positive out of every game, whether it's running your sets, improving your defense, working against pressure, getting players in the right place at the right time.
And there's the look with Boaja, and a good play by Nigeria. When the pressure came in the backcourt, got the ball up quickly, found the open man. Love, however, he's open, he misses. And Anthony.
And that boxing out that we saw in the first quarter from Nigeria, which was really solid. Not so on that particular play. Carmelo Anthony with the USA's second offensive rebound.
Yeah, Anthony was fouled as he went for it by Diogo. Wholesale substitutions now. James, Bryant, Paul, the starting lineup back in for the U.S. and the ball's taken away by Chamberlain Oguchi.
And that's where Nigeria has some class. The kind of pace they have. Throughout really 1 through 4 on the floor now. Really impressive. And I would like to see them use it on both ends. You know, not just busting down and getting open shots on the offensive end. Use that pace to get back. How about, I know the US is on fire at this point, but use that pace to stop those open layups. To stop this pickup style, you score a 3, I'll score a dunk.
Kept in play. Nope, on the line. There's LeBron James, who basically does a Lambo leap.
Played Humpty Dumpty.
Into the official, the wall there of official gamekeepers, timekeepers, stat keepers. Shot misses. Chris Paul with the rebound. Quick pass down to Durant. Tyson Chandler hands it to Paul, says you shoot it. In and out, and Chandler rebounds, passes it out to Durant, you shoot it. Durant misses. Kobe Bryant at the foul line misses. Tapped out to Kobe Bryant. He dribbles down the lane. Durant sets for 3 and finally hits. Well, you get that many picks of the cherry, you're bound to get one sooner or later.
Exactly right. It's painful to watch when you see that many offensive rebounds. And those are the fundamentals that this team can work on against this squad. Nigeria can still do those basics of boxing out and getting back on defense.
Well, Kobe Bryant just left that one for Durant. Made it look easy, 58-32. And a steal. James. Nigeria now making wholesale substitutions. Sohan. There he is. Ike Diogo stays in. Tony spins back. Alfred with the Manu short on the shot. The shot clock expired. You have 24 seconds to shoot the ball. Hasn't been a problem for the USA so far. But Nigeria, they're down 60-32 with 6:37 remaining in the first half.
Perhaps I can suggest this. There are different ways of watching basketball games. You can watch basketball games like this one as a fan. You can watch it to hold your breath for the next time somebody's going to dunk, or the next time somebody's going to shoot it from outside, uncontested. Or you can watch it as a technician, as a person, as a player perhaps who wants to get better or learn more about the game. And for me, you can play it that way too. And right now it seems like Nigeria is content to play as fans.
Just having a good time.
Enjoying the experience. The problem is, you just don't get better that way. When you're satisfied with close, when you're satisfied with coming out of this game and saying, yeah, you know, they beat us by 40, but didn't I play well? Or we did almost everything right. And it's not negativity, that's just, I want to see this Nigerian team be in the Olympics again. I want to see the GB team be in the Olympics again.
Absolutely. Not enough to say they beat us by 40, but did you see that shot I made?
And how many times do you hear that? It's too often.
Oh, Kobe Bryant, that is a clinic. Did you see Kobe on the other sideline dribbling the ball with his feet, like a football player?
He's got multiple skills.
And Kobe Bryant commits the foul as Obasohan was coming in on the drive. You know, as athletic as this Nigerian team is, if I were coaching them, I think that my tactic might be to come out with a full court press, man-to-man, full court press, and go at 100% in every game. And you know, use my bench. Tell everybody they're going to run the whole game.
Yep. And both ways.
Yeah.
Not just on offense. Going to run back on defense. Make it so that every team that plays against you knows that although they may be outmatched in terms of their exterior shooting, which has been not awful today. 2 for 9 is not terrible at this point. But making it clear when you play against this team, you know you're in for a nightmare because they're going to make you work for everything. And I don't think there's nothing critical about demanding that as a coach from the team.
The point against this team is you may well lose by 50 points, but you're losing by 50 points anyway, playing the way you are playing.
Yep.
But the point is when you play a slower team, you're actually going to give them a challenge to play the kind of game that they don't want.
Yep. And also, if you can execute against these athletes, there is something to be said for the fact your ability to then execute against anybody is enhanced.
And a foul as LeBron James practicing to play for certain other teams that we might not mention.
That have a penchant for drama, yes.
But the foul was on him against Ikedogu. Sorry, the foul was on Ikedogu, and it was necessary without LeBron James dramatizing it. Durant, James Harden in the game now. It makes him look like a wise man.
It's more like it.
Kobe Bryant, yeah, that's better D by Obasohan. It forces the shot just a little bit off balance, and Kobe Bryant misses it.
You know, and Kobe's going to make a lot of those shots too, contested. Because, you know, he's one of the best in the world.
And tipped away, the block, the pass. And LeBron James wanted to make it look difficult. Wanted to draw a foul and couldn't. 66-34. Diogu short on the 3, but gets his own rebound and now goes to the hoop and stuffs it through.
Good pursuit. Chased his own shot.
Nobody picks up Chris Paul. Sloppy defense.
The defense is, well, it's porous at this point.
And you've made the point before in games that we've done, when they do become somewhat one-sided, when they are out of reach, which generally happens in the second half, you have to keep playing good basketball. You have to keep working on good habits.
Well, I mean, why would you want to practice doing something the wrong way? The audience is here, the people have paid good money to watch. The least you owe them is a performance worthy of that support.
Not to mention that you're representing your country as well.
And to be clear, none of this is about the scoreline. This USA team is a remarkable unit. It's just about playing them hard, I suppose.
Westbrook lost the ball out of bounds, off of the Nigerian player. 15 seconds remain on the 24-second shot clock for the U.S. Harden will inbound it. Lost it for Carmelo Anthony, who stepped on the sideline. And this is the kind of thing, this is what you don't want to get into, bad habits, when you're winning the game.
Yep.
Just as important.
Yeah, maintaining discipline. I mean, Coach Krzyzewski on the USA bench is used to that. He's had plenty of teams that have been dominant in college basketball. He's used to helping his teams play hard through the easy matches as well as the more challenging ones. That's a great steal.
What a great steal. Clean, clinical, and the alley-oop for James Harden to finish. That would be the games when Duke plays Western South Dakota State.
Yeah, they're pre-ACC season. Yes, exactly. They're pre-conference games.
Oh, that's three.
Bit of ball movement, a very simple pick down on the weak side. Left him wide open for three, which he knocks down.
Oba Sohan, who's been playing for Juventud de Badalona in Spain.
Is a nice move.
Kevin Love in for Kevin Durant. Durant already has 14 points. Kobe Bryant with 16 and Carmelo Anthony with 16 lead the U.S.
I mean, please.
Ike Diogu has 15 for Nigeria.
Yeah, sorry, Mike. I mean,
it's okay.
We've got to bear in mind that we're not even at halftime and there are 70 points on the board.
They slowed the pace down from 49 in the first period.
I'm disappointed.
That would be 196 for the first period.
That would be a depressing outcome.
Fast break, no D, in the corner. Harden takes another look, misses.
And in fairness, there's a guy in Harden who really has struggled offensively. We saw the dunk from him, and certainly that's something he can do with ease. But from the perimeter, not really stroking the ball as we'd expect.
And he did a smart move, making time for himself, getting himself a better look that he liked better. He still missed. Olumide Oyedeji is back in the game, the big center for Nigeria. Foul was on Carmelo Anthony. The U.S. has 4, so the next foul will put them in the penalty situation, where Nigeria already is. Al-Farouq Amini, good pass. Nice shot by his brother Alade. Yeah. Al-Farouq to Alade, the Aminu brothers.
No one even ran at Carmelo Anthony.
I'm shaking my head as I watch this. How do you leave someone that open? And we're going to call stepping on the sideline on Tony Skinn, who was busy thinking about the wide open three he was about to take.
Yeah.
Darren Williams.
Nigeria looking stagnant, standing around.
Skinn sent James Harden skidding and sinks the basket for 3. Took a look at Harden as he skidded past him and then put away the 3. Williams takes the shot. Dribbled it off Sohan's leg.
And that's a bit of D from the top there.
Westbrook, Anthony with 4 on the shot clock. In and out. And the rebound taken nicely by Al Farouk. Good lead pass and the foul. Al Farouk, way to run the court.
Yep, good challenge on the defensive end, got the rebound. Moved it off to the races.
And ITO not looking happy on the bench, which I like to see. The foul was Anthony's second. Al Farouk Aminu. And Anthony Davis, the only player we haven't yet seen on the court. Carmelo Williams. Shot was blocked by Aminu. He comes down 2-on-1, brother to brother, lays it up and in, and couldn't control it, and Skin lost it out of bounds.
Yeah.
It was a good idea.
It really was. Just not able to execute. People worried about that first quick shot by Deron Williams is because USA team was going for a 2-for-1, trying to get a quick shot, have Nigeria come down, and still leave enough time for him to get another shot.
And Westbrook on the drive, lost the ball. It goes over to Nigeria with 5 seconds left, 5.8 on the shot clock. And Westbrook comes away holding his left arm. It looks like it's numb. He's holding the elbow.
I think he's hit his elbow, a bit of a dead arm. Not so much of a dead arm, he couldn't go for that steal.
That's right, Never Sohan.
Good fake,
Skin.
good fake.
Short at the buzzer. And so that brings the first half to an end, and the score at halftime, the United States 78, Nigeria 45. Looking at the scoring now for Nigeria, Ike Diogu with 15 points, Aruche with 7, and Obasohan with 5, along with Aminu. And for the U.S., Carmelo Anthony with 19, Kobe Bryant with 16, Kevin Durant with 14, Westbrook and Williams with 7 each. Those are full-time stats. And we're only at halftime, John.
I don't even know how to analyze that without boring the remaining people listening. I just think that it's so important to look at these competitions not as an end to themselves, but as a point on a journey for a country.
A learning process.
Yes, and it can't be a positive learning process if you're asleep at the back of class, and that's what it looks like is happening out here.
So the score at halftime, USA 78, Nigeria 45. Welcome back to the Olympic basketball arena, where at halftime, the United States leads Nigeria in men's basketball preliminary round, Group A, 78-56. I'm Mike Carlson, and with me is John Amici. And there isn't a whole lot you can say about a half where a team runs up 78 points, including 49 in the first 10 minutes.
I entirely agree with you. There is not a lot to talk about. But I would say this. Hopefully people watching, and I've been getting a few tweets from some Africans in the audience who are really disappointed with the lack of hustle, and that's what we're talking about here on the Nigerian side. This is a team that we've seen play, and when I talked about their passion before the game, and that's what I really wanted to come through. Forget the margin of victory or loss. The real question was using this game, coming out there, playing with their exuberance. And it's clear a couple of players have really come to play on offense, but the kind of things we're seeing on defense make the green that they're wearing look like the Washington Generals and not the national team from Nigeria. And I've played against this national team from Nigeria, and they fight. That's one of the defining parts. So that, for me, it will be interesting to see at halftime if they have had a serious conversation with their coach and have said, look, this is not about winning this game or turning it around. This is about us. It's one of the things with basketball, it's not about the opponent. You know, the great teams, they scout their opponents, they know the fundamentals of what's going to happen and what they're going to run, but really, when it comes down to it, the core of them is focusing on what they do well.
That's right. I think you made a good point with the Washington Generals, the team that basically traveled with the Harlem Globetrotters and were there to lose to them and to act as stooges and to play the straight man on the side. What you want the other team to know is that they've been in a basketball game, that they've had to fight for what they got. Even if they win easily, that they had to work to do it. And right now, especially in the first quarter, Nigeria tended to wake up a little bit in the second quarter, but the United States hasn't had to work for what they've got.
Exactly, and it's been like an exhibition game. And if I'm the United States, it's disappointing to me too. But as a coach, perhaps not as a player, I wouldn't have thought this. But as a coach, I would be thinking this is not the preparation we need, given that the games for them only get tougher because there are teams here who legitimately could take a shot at them.
Yeah, absolutely. And Nigeria, the same applies to them at a different level. There are teams here that if they play really well and catch the team on the right day, they could win a game that they wouldn't expect to win coming in, and they can bring themselves up in the world rankings as a result. So an opportunity, let's see how they take it in the second quarter. Down by 33 points, 78-43. So for the USA, not line up the start of the game. Anthony Davis, who is yet to play in the NBA, will begin his rookie season after the Olympics. Carmelo Anthony and Kevin Durant. And in the backcourt, Andre Iguodala and Chris Paul. So mixing it up. And the alley-oop right off the bat to Anthony Davis. They get the young boy involved right off the bat.
Right off the bat.
And no one defends it.
And a well-diagrammed play from Krzyzewski. You'd expect nothing less. But as the opponents, you'd certainly expect that.
And Davis, still unpolished, perhaps at 19 as an offensive player, but tremendous length and skills as a defensive player.
But what a phenom. I mean, frightening to look at how he's going to develop over the next few years, both physically and in terms of skill elements that he's going to pick up. Really frightening how good he can be.
He's on the team basically because Blake Griffin got hurt and he replaced him. You just hope he does develop in the NBA. Gets the time to work on those individual skills. Good ball movement, finds the open man, and unfortunately the shot is in and out for Al-Farouq Aminu.
Diogo again with the rebound. I like his pursuit, the fact that he's staying with it. You see here the first play of the half. And again, when you come out of the half break, the thing you realize, you must know, is that your opponent has probably got something prepared for the first play.
And Oyedeji was busy watching Carmelo Anthony and not where his man was going. Diogo makes the foul shot. He's the high scorer for Nigeria. And makes the second. Time to D up. Carmelo Anthony. Durant. Anthony shooting. Missing. Diogo clears the board.
And a better job by Nigeria. You saw hands on Anthony as he was trying to take that shot.
Skin. Good drives. Anthony Davis missed the block. And good fight underneath. Kicks it out for the open shot. Oba Sohan makes it. Better stuff from Nigeria, 80-50.
And that's a good effort on the boards once again.
Skin went flying.
Nice move.
Durant, great pass. Anthony lays it in.
Fantastic move. The crossover still had the control to make that nice drop pass for the easy two for Anthony.
Skin. Nigeria setting up an offense. Oba Sohan at the top. He takes the three. Misses it. Durant. Long pass for Anthony. Catches. Misses the shot, and the foul will be on Oba Sohan.
Disappointed with that miss, but again, perfect pass. We don't often see people working on those three-quarter court, full court passes. And yet, I mean, not particularly in this game given the score, but such an important tool to have to be able to make those pin-perfect passes.
And even with the big hands that NBA players have with that ball, it's still a ball that will curve on you if you don't throw it correctly.
That's right. Certainly a skill I never developed. 15 feet away and I'm a liability.
Yeah, but you grew up playing cricket.
I grew up eating chips and burgers.
And nothing's changed.
And sitting in a library.
Nothing has changed.
And I'm going back in circles, yes.
Apart from the library.
Cool night.
Tipped off and kept in play by Iguodala. Chris Paul. Paul looks for the pass, took it in by himself, banged it off the glass, 85-50. Tony Skin. Farouk Aminu. There's the pass to Oyedeji. Back to Oyedeji, wants to work inside, lost the ball, got it back, puts it up, and Anthony Davis clears the boards. Chris Paul. Kevin Durant. God, he gets space so quickly with those long legs. Lost the ball. Outside was Iguodala, lost it. Good pass. Good finish. Oba Sohan with a great pass to Aminu.
Good job in transition by Nigeria. Patient at the right times. Good decision at the very end.
Andre Iguodala kicks it out to the outside. The open man at the top of the key is Anthony, and he cans the three. 88-52.
The U.S. clearly trying to work on things that are going to work for them. Moving into this tournament, the extra pass, the penetration.
Ike Diogu uses his body well. Pushes the young boy.
Yep, and there's a bright spark, because he's not just been doing it against the youngster in here. He's been doing it against everybody. Using his body, soft touch. Speaking of soft touch,
Carmelo Anthony has been on fire behind the three-point line. He now has 28 points, and the U.S. is up 91-54. Skin on the right side. Ike Diogu for three. That's off, and Anthony with the rebound. Up to Durant.
No green shirts on the offensive board there, perhaps not expecting that shot.
Chris Paul tries to go behind the back and hits Skin in the back of the foot. Anthony picks it up and shoots the three again, and does, and makes it. And the whole U.S. bench was up with their hands up in the air before the shot went through. Anthony's got 31. Oba Sohan. Skin for three. Had a good look, but couldn't get it to drop. Chris Paul stepped on the sideline as he tried to keep the ball in play. It will go over to Nigeria with 5:54 on the clock. And the score 94-54.
And I think I've seen that more as a good challenge there. You see, for the three, but he's on fire now, so the chance is going to have to be even greater. But I think I've seen more players standing on the sideline today than I've seen in a competition like that, an entire competition like this, certainly in Beijing.
Al-Farouq Aminu, and he tries to pass inside. Diogu wasn't ready for it. It comes away to Durant. Carmelo Anthony again for three. Again he hits! It's the Carmelo show. And Nigeria want a timeout. Well, if they have a coaching decision to make, it's going to be, how do we stop Carmelo Anthony? Hey guys, want to pick him up?
Yeah, given that he's 9 for 11 from three, at what point do you decide perhaps I will make him shoot a different shot?
34 points for Carmelo Anthony, 97 points for the United States, and there's still more than half of the third period to play.
And for those people who think that we are being negative, it's a word people seem to love to use, the Olympic record for points made in a half by a team was 72 until this game. And now there's a new record for points in a half. The Olympic record for the most points in a full game in the Olympics is 148. And we still have a full quarter and another 5 minutes on top. And I'm suggesting only that this Nigeria team is better than that.
That's right, absolutely.
I firmly believe they're better than that. The win that they have and the way that they won indicates that they are a better team than we are seeing on the floor today, regardless of the heat of players like Anthony at the moment.
Carmelo Anthony is also the leading rebounder for the U.S. with 4. I'm sorry, I should, but at this stage of the game, only have 4 rebounds for the leading rebounder and be leading by 45 points. Is a very unusual statistic.
Again, it's hard when there's, wow, it's hard when nobody misses. They're an offensive foul.
When you're shooting 70% from the floor, you're not going to give up that many rebounds. And Nigeria are actually shooting 45% and 58 and 2-point shots, which is quite good. Anthony again, and again he hits, and it's 100 for the U.S. Carmelo Anthony has put them into triple digits, 100 to 54. Diogu misses, and the foul will be on Aminu, who's held back as he went for the ball. Carmelo Anthony goes to the bench with 37 points in 2.5 quarters. 5/8 to the game.
10 for 12 from the three-point line. Many of those uncontested for that.
Uncontested 2 for Ogbujaja. And Tyson Chandler couldn't get that one away as it was blocked from behind by Al-Farouq Aminu.
It's interesting, Tyson Chandler is the only player on the USA team who really appears to have been struggling. Not that his input has been absolutely necessary so far.
Westbrook from the corner, 102, 56, 4:24 to play in the third. And nice job by Oruchi to keep that ball in play. Diogu underneath, can't get his drop. Love with the rebound, up to Williams quickly. Harden on the side. Thought about the three and decided not to take it. Waits for everyone to come down. The bigs are down now. They move the ball around the outside. Williams goes left, right, left, and finally is fouled by Aminu.
Williams was playing with the defender there.
And looked like an acid response from Aminu.
Tough.
Krzyzewski doesn't look happy. Look at that.
No, I don't think he looks at this game as the kind of preparation he needs for the next.
No, and I think that's exactly why he's on it.
Because a game against a Nigeria team that we expect to see, that we saw 2 days ago, a game against that team could be really useful for the USA. Physical, passionate, hard-working, defensively minded, and a team that can run like Nigeria normally is. Would have been useful.
And that's of no use whatsoever. Just stand there, dribbling, take a three-point shot, and then the U.S. fortunately come down. And, well, they play lackadaisically. They almost lose the ball, and Westbrook drills a three to make it 106-56. But that's why Mike Krzyzewski's unhappy. Minu for the alley-oop. And Diogo off the glass.
Play inside. USA's defense hardly stellar. We should point that out at this point.
And that's what you were talking about earlier, about just getting into bad habits.
Yep. It's a pickup match.
Westbrook, that shot will be short because he was fouled by Chamberlain Oguchi.
Yep. Rocker Park with a better floor surface at this point.
Ibekwe was born in Los Angeles, Diogo in Buffalo, the Amino brothers in Atlanta, Dagunduro in Los Angeles, Oguchi in Houston, Archibong in New York City, Obasoan in Houston, and Richard Aruche in Bensonville, Illinois. I don't know what to make of that.
It's quite an international feel, or at least a North American feel.
U.S. keeps it in play. Westbrook from downtown.
USA now 21 of 31 from three. That's better than the free throw percentage for some of the games we've seen.
Nice turnaround jumper by Ogoaja.
He's hit a couple of shots now, that top of the key jumper, and just there inside.
Darren Williams, such great lateral speed. Tried to pass it back, and Diogo knocked it out of bounds. U.S. will keep possession with 14 seconds on the shot clock. Kevin Love from the outside is short, nobody underneath, and the rebound comes to Oguchi. Good lead pass. Second pass can't get past Tyson Chandler though, but Nigeria keep it in play.
See that difference with the USA getting back in the transition.
And two tries at it, but there's Darren Williams. Basket hanging on the fast break. 15-16.
But at least, I mean, it was ambitious to go for that tip dunk, but at least he's getting in there, getting stuck in.
113-16.
Sorry, my surprise is that I didn't realize we saw in the third quarter.
And goaltending called on Tyson Chandler, who out of frustration as much as anything else just smashed that ball against the backboard. 1:23 remaining in the third quarter, 113-62.
Tyson Chandler, maybe he's frustrated because he has the lowest shooting percentage on the USA team. He's shooting 50% from the field.
Oguchi called on the reaching in foul. Westbrook makes both foul shots. 115-62 with a minute 14 to play in the quarter. Out of bounds, finally kicked out of bounds by Oluchi, and it goes over to the U.S. And here the arena has gone relatively silent. It's kind of a surfeit.
Yeah, I mean, I think that the Olympics, people come to see spirited games. Whatever the criticisms, for example, of the GB Spain game, critical errors down the end of the game, the GB, the crowd here appreciates the effort. They appreciate the fact that an unlikely underdog battled.
And we've seen a lot of that so far in this Olympic basketball tournament. Kevin Love on the drive, and it's tipped in by Tyson. Love nearly got the steal. Instead, the open three-pointer missed by Oluchi. And it's a 3-on-1 for the U.S. Alley-oop, left for Westbrook, who slams it through. That makes the crowd up. And that will bring the third quarter to a close. The giant slam by Westbrook makes it 119 to the U.S., 62 to Nigeria. And that Olympic scoring record is still under threat by the USA. Who set that record, John?
That's a good question. As far as my research went, I couldn't find out who it was, but I can't imagine it's not one of the original USA teams, maybe even the Dream Team themselves, who set that record. I'm sure somebody will tweet and tell me.
I'm just wondering if it gets back to 56 or 60. When you did have sometimes some qualifying teams who weren't up to the level of the then college players, who the 1960 team, for example, with Oscar Robertson, Jerry West, Jerry Lucas, the 1956 team with Bill Russell, Casey Jones, still in college, but it'd be interesting to find out. And to be honest, I didn't prepare for that because I had no idea that the game would be as one-sided as it has turned out to be.
Well, we didn't prepare for it because we expected from this team what we normally see from a Nigerian team, which is a battle, making it painful for an opponent to score.
And nice it is, as it is, to see Showtime in Stratford. There's nothing like competitive basketball.
Yeah, and the reaction of the fans here is quite clearly, as there are fans at the moment streaming out of the gym. The reaction is quite clearly that what they came to see was a fight, a battle. People trying to prevail against seemingly unbeatable odds, as we see here from Carmelo Anthony doing his work from the outside. And
you say, well, that's a remarkable shooting performance by Carmelo Anthony, and in one sense it is, but in the other sense, he hasn't really had a contested shot.
And that's true, and how often can you say that in a game of this importance?
So there's the horn. In between quarters entertainment on the court. And some of them looking dejected as well they might. Got off to a bad start, the wrong kind of start, I think. And never really recovered. Now into the fourth quarter. If nothing else, you might want to do stop the U.S. from setting a new record at their expense.
You would certainly think that would be a goal in the Nigerians' mind.
Good motivation.
The USA now in the zone, trying out something different, a look that they're going to have to use throughout this tournament.
Alfred Camino trying to shoot over it, misses, and the rebound came off to Iguodala.
A decent effort on the boards inside again, and now a steal.
Al Farouk with the steal. Dribbles down and is fouled on the outside as he goes to the hoop.
That young man's got some jets. Where'd he go?
Amino plays for the New Orleans Hornets. He averaged 6 points and 5 rebounds a game. He was traded in that Chris Paul trade after the first Chris Paul trade was vetoed by the NBA front office. at the beginning of the year. He came to the Hornets in the second trade from Chris Paul to the LA Clippers. Love got his feet all messed up. Couldn't get the rhythm for his shot. And a steal. A casual pass, and Chris Paul just decides to wait and then throw up the three. And why do you leave him alone? Why do you not D him up? (122-62). US by 60. And still the passes are going lazy across the court.
And quite reliably. We do have some information, luckily.
And Anthony Davis finally comes up with it. Shot clock is running down, and Nigeria still wasn't close to the shot. Chris Paul bringing it up, and the information is?
The information is that the highest score was Brazil, 138 against Egypt in 1988. So
and I'll bet you that Oscar Schmidt had about 55 points in that game.
I would bet you're right.
Brazil against Egypt is the record. And the U.S. in position to make that
every United States player who scored. Iguodala was the only one who hadn't, and that was because he hadn't taken a shot. He was 1 for 1.
So he's 1 for 1, exactly. Shooting 100%. You're not going to believe this, John. You're not going to believe this, but the record for most points in an Olympic game by an individual is held by
Oscar Schmidt of 55.
Brazil, 55 points in 1988. That wasn't a bad guess.
Mike Carlson, that's why they paid you the big bucks.
Oscar Schmidt was an offensive machine.
Fantastic man.
And he did it against everybody.
He did.
Diogo kept the ball a little bit too long, trying to get into perfect position under the basket. Anthony Davis, great pass. Ball looking toward Love, passes it to Davis, and a timeout taken on the court by Nigeria. 132-64, the U.S. over Nigeria. 6:47 to play in this game. Oscar Schmidt, he got a lot of points against very good teams that could outclass Brazil. He got a lot of points against very bad teams that Brazil could outclass, no matter who it was.
I'm not saying we're going to win the game at this stage.
A guy who wasn't necessarily a prototypical basketball player. He wasn't an outstanding athlete, good athlete, but not remarkable like some of the players we see on both sides in front of us here. But just immensely skilled, incredibly smart, and a team around him that knew how to utilize him well.
Get him the ball, get him open for a good look.
In the spots that he wanted.
And in fairness, I have seen very few people better at the catch and shoot. And he could get rid of the ball incredibly quickly.
It was a little frightening. I mean, he didn't need any time at all in order to get his shot, which is the key. If you want to shoot at the highest level, it's not about being able to make lots of shots. When someone's passing you a ball and you're flipping it in your hands and you're taking the time. In a game, it's about being able to have that ball swung to you at pace, catch it low, and go straight up with it in a microsecond.
Nigeria put the ball in play with 6:45 to play in this game, trailing U.S. 132-64. Well, another one for Diogo. Ike Diogo has had a brilliant offensive performance for Nigeria. The bright light for them. He's got 25 points. And again, Diogo, well, defensively, he just let Anthony Davis go. Trying to come up and help out. Anthony Davis all alone on the baseline. Gets the uncontested dunk, and it's 134-66. Gucci launched it from downtown, and here comes the U.S. again. Look out, Brazil. Chris Paul, semi-contested on the three-point. Diogo all alone, and Anthony Davis is on him. Anthony Davis swats the ball high. Paul swatted it low. Diogo managed to keep control and is fouled by Anthony Davis.
Diogo on offense, certainly one of the players on the Nigeria team who seems still tuned in. He's running the floor, making great effort. Defensively, lapses.
Makes the first. As I said, last season he played 7 games for the San Antonio Spurs, which was his 7th NBA stop. He's auditioning for another NBA tryout.
You can see how he has the potential, absolutely.
Absolutely.
He's got great touch inside, uses his body really, really well, but the NBA is as much about stopping somebody as scoring. Doesn't always seem that way, I don't watch it, but you're no good if you're going to score 30 in a game and the guy you're playing against is going to score 31.
Well, the pass was intended for Olade Aminu, a good idea. He was cutting down the middle, and speaking of cutting down the baseline, James Harden steps it to a 146. 5 minutes to play in this game, 136-68. Diogo on the baseline turnaround, misses, the rebound to Harden.
Tough shot behind the backboard, still a great touch on it. He's a bit of a one-man band on offense, unfortunately. Iguodala,
well, you get the feeling he's going to get his. And there is the record, 139 for the U.S. on the three-pointer by Iguodala. The biggest score, the highest score in Olympic basketball history, passing Brazil, who did it against Egypt in 1988 in Seoul. And in Seoul in 1988, it was the old Soviet Union who won the basketball gold medal after defeating the United States, who finished with bronze. Darren Williams has come in for Chris Paul. James Harden putting on a little dribbling clinic outside and then hitting the three-point basket. It's 145-68. Nice move inside by Olade Aminu, but it couldn't fall, and Davis knocked it away, picked up by Williams, up to Harden, who looks so casual.
Well, it is casual at this point. It's streetball.
Harden on the drive. Yeah, all pretense of team offense has sort of disappeared. Rebound by Anthony Davis, up to Williams, who just decides to slow play down. Everyone walking up the court for the U.S.
U.S., by the way, with 38 assists in the game.
Williams for three, and another timeout by Nigeria. Darren Williams, a three-pointer, makes it 145-68, and every time the U.S. scores, they set a new Olympic record. It's kind of like the pole vault bar going up 1/8 of an inch at a time.
There is actually, I think, a pole vaulter doing that very thing at this in the competition at the moment. Hiking it up, knowing she's breaking the record every time she gets out there.
And Mike Krzyzewski scratching his head, sitting down. Let me tell you a story. It looks like he's saying, let me tell you a story, guys.
At some point, he's going to have to smile. But again, I do think his concern is it's good that he's getting guys loose. Some guys who haven't really had a chance to shine and haven't really felt like they've got their game flowing. But now it's reached the point where the competition isn't even allowing them to develop for the next game.
Mike Krzyzewski at some point is going to have to say, look guys, in 2 days we've got Lithuania coming up, and Lithuania is not going to give us any breaks.
They will battle.
Nigeria may now have Argentina coming up next, and the Argentines will battle as well. And another steal as it went off Alade Aminu's foot and comes over to the U.S. Darren Williams to Iguodala. Behind the back. Good pass cross court to Harden. Harden misses the three. Love with the rebound and the putback. Haven't seen a lot of that, but that's because there haven't been a lot of misses like that.
Too true. And still, Love battling inside, doing his job.
And on the baseline, it looked almost inevitable that Uguaja would be fouled. Anthony Davis with the blocking foul. His third personal foul. The team's third. And 3 points for Oguchi. And 3 points for Kevin Love.
Scores inside off the rebound, takes it outside, shows he can do it there too.
Yeah, nicely done by Iguodala between the legs. He's waiting. Someone come out and guard me. Love for three. He hits the big man from way downtown. 153 to 71. James Harden, shot clock down to 6, stops, pops, in and out, and rebound to Alade. Down at speed, Oguchi. Anthony Davis, and he's fouled with 27 seconds remaining in the game. The United States, 29 of 46 from three-pointers. How many games do you see where a team launches 46 three-point shots?
I don't believe I've ever seen one.
And made 29 of them. That's 63%. That would be a fantastic shooting percentage of two-point shots. Iguodala takes the rebound with 15 seconds left. And he'll just dribble the ball out. Knocked away, and Harden picks it up in the backcourt. And that is the end of the game. And the final score, USA 156, Nigeria 73, a new Olympic record for the most points scored in one game by the winning team, and I believe by one game by both teams put together. But as you've been saying all through the game, John, what the U.S. takes away from this is very little positive, apart from the fact that if they play a playground game with a team that wants to play a playground game, they can always win.
Yes, and they got to run out there. I think there were some guys who genuinely needed an opportunity to score, who genuinely needed an opportunity to get in their rhythm, and they've certainly done that. But the problem is, they've not really had a chance to execute against another tough defensive opponent. And my disappointment is that Nigeria can be that. We've seen them. They can work harder.
And of course for Nigeria, well, they need to get their act together because there are games that this team could win in this tournament. You look at their statistics, and not a bad shooting team, not a bad performance, but basically none of that meant anything after that 49-point first quarter.